Let's move on to a story that I kind of touched on for a second, but I thought when I touched on it before, I thought that we had the whole picture, and we didn't. And let me talk about the Urban Meyer situation for a second. So, of course, we know he was caught on camera after a game. Well, let me say this. He was caught at a bar on camera. I guess there was a young lady dancing on him. There was drinks around dancing on him. It looked like he was doing something with his hands. I don't know. It wasn't his wife. He was caught on tape. Bada bing, bada boom. You know the rest. Oh no, he then goes. He apologizes to the media in a weirdest apology I've ever seen in my life. Like, he was scared to even look at the media. But here, that's pretty much where when I covered this the first time, or when I talked about it the first time, that's pretty much where I ended. I pretty much said, hey, he made a mistake. He just has to own up to it, talk to his team, keep moving. That's pretty much what, your focus. The focus should not be on this. The focus should be on winning, especially with a young franchise, especially, not young franchise, young, team, a team that's not really that good, young quarterback. You shouldn't focus on this. You apologize, talk to the team, keep it moving. That is where I ended that story. But that was not the end, and that was not the whole story. What I didn't really understand until reports started coming out left and right is there have been we see on film, and we see week after week that the Jaguars are not a good team. Yes, Trevor Lawrence is cool, but they're not a good team. They don't really have a good unit, period. They don't have a good offensive line. DJ Chalk is out for the season with an injury. They don't really have a good wide receiver core. They don't have a good defense at all. Urban Meyer is a new coach. They don't really have a good team. And the last thing that you want to do is be a new coach, because, of course, we know about the status that Urban Meyer holds in college. We know about Florida. We know about Ohio State. But that doesn't really carry over to the NFL. And I'm saying all this to say there have been reports that his message is not getting through with the team. In fact, there are reports coming out saying the team is not only they're not listening to him, they don't like his leadership. He's not a good leader to them. Again, it's different when you are recruiting a 5-star athlete, or you're recruiting a 4-star athlete. You're recruiting college kids. It's different than when you're talking to grown men that make more than you. You have to come at them a different way. That's why a lot of college coaches, now some do, don't get me wrong, some do, but that's why a lot of college coaches don't really make it in the league. Lou Holtz tried it, didn't work. And Nick Saban, the greatest college football coach ever, Nick Saban did not work in the NFL. And it's not, again, it's early. I mean, it's early, but it's not looking like it's working for Urban Meyer, and that wasn't the whole story. Then the video happened. No, first, they lost. They lost, and the first time I've ever heard this, and it's not just me, because every single time I've heard the story, every single time I've heard another media pundit, every time I've heard another former player, former scout, former coach talk about this, they say the same thing. This has never happened in X amount of years that they've been in the league or covering the league. After the game, the team went on one flight and went home. It was a away game. They went back to Jacksonville. Urban Meyer did not. Never have I ever heard a team getting on a team plane after a game and not the coach. And again, it's not just me. Again, I know I've never been in the league, but it's not just me. Every single person that talks about this story says, I've never heard of that. And then after that, that's when you see the video. And it is a damning video, I'll say that. And then, instead of addressing his team, which I think anybody should do, especially if you're the head coach, he cancels practice, trying to avoid talking to the team, trying to avoid talking to the media. And I guess because, it's pretty much spreading like wildfire, he acquiesces and talks to the media. And he doesn't even talk to the team as a whole. I think he talks to the individual units. And he talks to the team units like the linebacker core, the wide receiver core. He talks to them individually. What the conversation coming out of this is, should Urban Myers get fired? Now, Urban Myers has already come out and said he's not resigning. The owner of the team said, which was the weirdest thing I've ever heard. The owner of the team said, Urban Myers he disappointed us and he needs to earn my respect and the team's respect again. The owner of the team says the coach that you are employing needs to earn your respect again. Like I said, the conversation around all this is, should Urban Myers get fired? Now, I say this a lot. I'm not one to call for somebody's job. We just got out of the pandemic, or we're pretty much still in the pandemic, so jobs are at a scarce at this point. And I'm not one to call for somebody's job. I want someone to have the utmost opportunity to succeed at whatever they do. Not saying that keep giving them chance after chance after chance after chance. If they don't take it upon themselves to try to grow, I'm saying I want them to have the best opportunity to win in life. But when we talk about coaches, right? Two things that can't happen. Two things when you're a head coach of a football team, whether that's college, whether that's NFL. Two things cannot happen. One, you cannot lose the locker room. You cannot lose the locker room, because once you lose the locker room, you're not getting it back. That is anyone knows that. And that's just not football. That's any sport. If you lose the locker room, you're not getting it back. Two, you cannot be a distraction. That's what we talk about a lot with backup quarterbacks. Hell, that's probably one of the biggest reasons why Cam Newton is not in the league right now. Because more than likely he would be a backup to somebody right now, because it's we're in the middle of the season. You don't want to, he's the type of person we have to build the offense around him. So that's not going to happen in week 4 of the NFL. So more than likely, whatever team that he goes to, he'll be a backup until further notice, or he'll just be a backup. And people know that Cam Newton will be bigger than the team. Like, Cam Newton is too big and too, I guess, what did he say? His aura is too big to be a backup quarterback right now, or to be a backup to Mac Jones, and pretty much to be a backup. And the two things that I said you can't do is exactly what Urban Myers has done. And it's not just multiple people have saying that he's lost or losing the locker room because people don't respect him, especially after you send the team home and you don't get on the team jet. First time anyone's ever heard that. And two, you don't even address the team about something like this. And it's not just that. They haven't been winning. Now, again, you can understand that the team's not that good, but they haven't been winning, and reports are he hasn't really been addressing the team well after these wins or about these wins, and he hasn't really made any coaching changes after these losses. It's again, man, you can't stress this enough. College is not the NFL. And I'm not just saying that with talent level. Not every team in the league in the NFL is better than Alabama, better than the best college team. Every team is better than the best. Every team in the NFL, hell, whether it's the Jaguars, whether it's the Houston Texans, whether it's any team, is better than the best college team. Which means you're not getting pancakes anymore. Like, you're not getting cupcake teams. You're not playing Fresno States. You're not playing San Diego States. You're not playing Oklahoma States. Every team has the best players because they're in the NFL. So a lot of that, it's easy to recruit the best. Urban Meyer is a great recruiter. Or at least he was back in his day, back in when he was coaching college. But that don't fly in the NFL. There's too much money being passed around, too much talent on a team. So you got to come correct or you will get your head blown in. As far as, I don't mean that as like murder or anything. I mean like you'll lose. I want to clear that up. You'll lose in a game. And quiet as it's kept, a lot of people don't really want to. There's always Urban Meyer's again is his record, his college record it speaks for itself. Almost everywhere he's gone in college, he's been successful. That's his record speaks for itself. But there is something to be said about everywhere he's gone. There has been a story. Everywhere he's gone, there's been something. Florida, Aaron Hernandez. Now, I'm not saying that Urban Meyers, of course, was complicit in that. But there has always been a story with his players. Florida, Ohio State, Ezekiel Elliott, a lot of players, the whole rape thing, not Ezekiel Elliott, but the whole rape thing at Ohio State. And how there's always something with Urban Meyers. And at some point, again, at some point you have to look at the common denominator and in all these situations. There's one common denominator in all of the situations that everywhere that Urban Meyer goes, there's always a story off the field. Insert the Jacksonville Jaguars, and this time the story is Urban Meyers. I don't know what's going to happen. As we sit here today, Urban Meyer is the coach. And I don't know if they're going to fire him or not. But I do know that your record is your record. And Urban Meyer has a spectacular college record. I also understand that he has a horrible NFL record. And he has a very sketchy off the field record. And for people to saying, well, you can't blame Urban Meyer for what happened, at Florida or what happened at Ohio State. These are players. They're going to make their decisions. Yeah, true. But why is it that you never hear anything come out of Alabama? Why is it that you never hear anything, in Nick Saban? Why is it that you never hear anything come out of Penn State under Franklin? Why is it that we never hear anything come from Notre Dame? Why is it that we never hear anything come from organizations with great coaches? We never hear anything come out of that. Yet and still, every single place Urban Myers goes, there's a story. Again, man, the two things that you cannot do, two things as a head coach in the NFL: lose the locker room and be a distraction bigger than the team. And that is crazy that he as Urban Myers right now is a bigger distraction than the Jacksonville Jaguars as a team as a whole, with a horrible team and a number one overall player, number one overall quarterback. And the biggest story coming out of Jacksonville is Urban Meyer's off the field issues and his personality not fitting with the team, or his coaching style not fitting with the team. The two things you can't do in the league is exactly what he's doing right now. So, does he get fired? I don't know. I know if I owned a team, yeah, I don't know. I just know what we've been presented.